Welcome, Filth Weavers. We are back with a reading for you. I wonder if I can just squish this closer to me. I have these photos here of one of my favorite caves at Ruby Beach on the west coast, and yeah, we got our bells ringing, so tuning into the energy. I'm feeling kind of like a gentle brightness, almost like a mist, maybe similar to this place. And I have the bells ringing. So feeling like this is perhaps a time of new beginnings. Perhaps you have experienced a lot of new beginnings, and it's like another ring on the spiral, or another ring within the tree, just like coming around to a similar place of regenerating yourself, or giving birth, or like kind of taking account of your own growth, kind of like putting your ego aside and stepping into what your spirit is calling you to do. So yeah, let's get into our message for you. What message do we have, Spirit, for our filth weavers? Crone of Spirals. Okay, so you may be in a place of just like feeling into the oneness of the universe, feeling into your identity as the multiverse, as perhaps a universe in the multiverse, or the multiverse itself. Spinning through the cosmos is something I'm hearing. Maybe you feel like you're just spinning, or maybe you feel like you're just existing, but feeling like a wholeness and completion in that. What messages do we have for the Filth Weaver Collective? To be sure you're on the right path. That's interesting, because as the multiverse, you contain all paths. What was that? A hermit. Hermit was a little peeking out there. didn't fully come out. So, oh yeah, this, like, I feel this in my gut, like right above my belly button, like just because it's resonating with me, like feeling like there's everything, which path, and then being in hermit mode because it's like, well, it's all paths. It's also like the path you're on, like, okay, shadow, weaving with your shadow perhaps. In this card there's like the hair is almost like inverted, weaving light and shadow together, becoming more integrated in yourself. Perhaps people had expectations for you to like projections around being polarized, being like so good or so monstrous, and it's like, no, you're not. You're both. You're all. You're everything. And the more I'm feeling this dynamic between like this kind of struggle between like growing into your integration through your relationships, like perhaps you feel that within yourself as an individual, but when it comes to bringing this into your relationships, it's like maybe there's a hang up because there's this conflict between the light and the dark, like constantly in everything, and that can be really overwhelming. And it can make us like want to stay a hermit. And I feel like what I'm sensing is like stepping out into the multiverse. It's like stepping out into like one of the rings, like the next ring of the tree. In that imagery, like the outer layer is the bark, and that's like the oldest layer. That's interesting. It's like the most ancient part of ourselves, even expanding that macrocosmically to our eternal self, is like, that's the outer shell. That's like, but then the texture of the bark like is kind of calloused. And I'm feeling that it's not a callus that's like numbing you out. It's a callus that allows you to feel more, and like I'm feeling the obvious sense perhaps of like, perhaps obvious, perhaps not, but like, when there's like an outer layer of protection, like our skin, it protects us from, like, it protects our inner organs from like diseases, and and also like in like in kinship, there's like elders, caregivers who like protect the young as they're growing up. So this kind of like sense of protection. But then I'm also feeling like a tenderness in that sense of protection, almost like it's not only like protecting us from conflict, perhaps like the light and the shadow of ourselves, it's also like the skin is like the sense that allows us to feel touch and sensation on our skin. And so there's like a sensitivity that is also, it's like this feeling of like surrendering. Like how? What? Maybe how? Because I have this sense within myself, but I'm not sure. Let's see. How is it surrendering? Is it even? Can we have some clarification around the bark, the relationship with the bark and the skin as protecting, like, I'm just sensing that we get to be both. Three of Vessels. There's these little squirrels. There's 3 of them. They're all holding on to each other, and the middle one is blue or like teal. And it looks like they're having a feast. Well, they're sure like being sensual, like hugging each other. Maybe a hug is like a perfect example because it's like an embrace where you're feeling your nervous systems are close, you're feeling, you're resonating, you're syncing up with each other. You're tuning to each other. And like that can be vulnerable, but it's also like a strength. It's also like protection through vulnerability. Strength through vulnerability. And it's like the most tenderest, deepest connections can also be the strongest. Maybe because they go so deep. So, yeah, what else? What about this is relative to the Filth Weavers? It's like being caged. We have all these cards that came up. Being caged. It's like that's this coming out. That's coming out. The Ace of Vessels, Moon in reverse, 3 of Flowers, and Love. So perhaps there's like a gift. I'm sensing there's a gift. You're receiving a gift. It's not necessarily a physical gift. It's like a gift from the cosmos. It's like, it's not really your own blossoming. It's like, but maybe it is if, you know, you're the multiverse, then any blossom is partly your blossom. So maybe your gift is like blossoming in the cosmos. Like your energy is reaching the cosmos and it's blossoming in the cosmos in connection with your ancestors. Like there's some you're emotionally maturing meaning that you're able to, this side, that your energy, you're able to process your emotions, and that's what's, it's not getting stuck, and so that's what's like allowing this blossoming to reach the cosmos. And like you're being witnessed by the cosmos, by the multiverse, as the universe, witnessing yourself. I'm sensing like this like physical shame is being released. Like you're, as the multiverse, you're also dissolving into complete spaciousness. So like you see yourself in everything and also in nothing. And in that, there's like immense, like you can't even explain the feeling. It's more than love. It's like there's no words to describe the spaciousness. And like that like sexual expression of spaciousness, it's like, it feels like a, maybe because it's related to past physical shame around your body and your sexuality, but that's being dissolved. It's being dissolved through love, through like neurological connections within yourself. That, I mean, even that is like part of your ego, so it's like it's like your neurons are maybe it's sparking like new neurological connections. This feeling of spaciousness is sparking new neurological connections with your whole body. That's like creating greater ease in your body, and it's overriding this sense of shame. And like some of this are things that I've been processing, and so as a reflection of you, this is what's coming up for this, the vibration of this collective, you know? I'm sensing like a feeling of play and like finding your love tribe. Yeah, it's happening more. It's materializing more. The more you surrender, the more you, you know, the more this energy of like coming into greater ease, stepping into your identity as the multiverse, embracing your light and your shadow, and like that conflict. Yeah, there was something, we made a jump between that conflict and like the need for embrace. So how is the conflict, like that overwhelmed sense of conflict, being like addressed or transformed or into this greater sense of love? into this because conflict can be exhausting, especially if it's like everywhere. Sense I have is the more that you come into your own tenderness and you are just present with it. Like the feeling I have is like there's the grief of the world, there's the grief of our ancestors, and there's like it's tremendous. It permeates everything because of the ways that the systems that we live in continue to perpetuate this. So finding a moment to really be with yourself and listen to your heart, even if it's like going into the imaginative space of the heart and just like processing. And that can look a lot of different ways. That can look like making art, that can look like singing, that can look like making sounds, like hearing the sounds of your being and expressing them, or even just witnessing them internally if you can't express them. Ga 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 go 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 go. Like finding ways to access like this energy that's moving through you and witness it, really witnessing it, because that's what's needed, you know. If you're around other people who won't witness it, that's where the conflict comes in, because then you're not in a space where it's safe to witness, because other people are maybe like not ready to or not willing to witness it. But you are. And so like creating that space for yourself to really feel it can bring you in touch with this like the core of your spirit, the core of your soul. And that sweetness, that brightness, that like liquid crystal energy is that's a place to be and like operate from, like moment to moment, in the present moment, like hearing like what does that space need. For me, I've been compiling this playlist of folk music from different regions of my ancestral homelands, and so I was just like, I had a day yesterday and I just listened to it, and I laid there connecting with that space, that tenderness within myself, and it felt like a medicinal balm for my soul. And I think that's giving me the energy to be able to move forward. Because even if it's not about healing the world, healing other people's shit, like as the multiverse, it's like transmuting my own relationships. Not just transmuting, but just like that. What I'm trying to say is that conflict with other people is a conflict within ourselves. And so making the space to be with our own tenderness can melt away the conflict that we might be perceiving outside of ourselves. And allow us to like integrate and weave our shadow and light together. Yeah. And I'm hearing this sense like, what if I'm the only one doing that? What if I need to be in a community where everyone's doing that. Everyone's willing to integrate their light and shadow. And I'm here to tell you that you are not separate from anybody else. As the multiverse, you make your own choices within your being. So if this is what you're about, what you're up to with our filth weavers, then this is your way of engaging with the multiverse, not necessarily like needing other people to fill a role for you, because if our reality is a reflection, if our external reality is a reflection of our internal reality, then what is in that scenario, what is perhaps the role that you are needing to step into for yourself? And like, yes, we need each other. So how does like weaving community together tie into this? Healer of Blades. I'm hearing that like it'll happen. It's not about needing to make it happen or not. It's more about focusing on your own capacity to weave your light and dark. And the more you integrate that within yourself and flex that capacity and capability within your relationships, the more it'll just start to be a part of your life. Like, there's this like fence that I'm seeing that's like either you're in or you're out. You're either in my community where we're integrating in our light and dark, or you're out. And the sword is like nested within these flames. It's like forging yourself. Yeah, you're forging yourself, you're exercising your own discernment. You know, creating boundaries when you need to. Like maybe temporary or pop-up boundaries when you need to. Rebel of Vessels. Okay, so the sun. Well, the sun was down here. What's in this? Like you'll be basking The more you forge yourself, the more you'll be basking, the more capacity for pleasure that you'll have in that like clearing, that emotional clearing, clearing the physical shame and coming into like that spaciousness. I'm seeing these like all these flowers are kind of like flames. These three cards came out: Ace of Flowers, the World, Dream. Yeah, it's a similar message, like letting it flow. I'm seeing this rain flowing, but it's actually moving upward, and the rain, it looks like seeds. So perhaps your emotions are watering your seeds, processing your feelings. That's enabling your capacity for regeneration and cultivation and like growing something based on like your like as the dream of your ancestors, like, and the dream of the earth and the dream of the cosmos. Like, the more we surrender to feeling what we're feeling and not identifying with it, the more that the life is going to be able to move through us in abundant ways. And this like this world, in this world card, there's like a vortex, like things are going down the drain. So like that that separation of like your light and shadow. I'm feeling this like cosmic pulse of like light shadow integration, but then this drain looks like this vortex black hole, looks like a drain that is going down into like transmuting the energy, but it also looks kind of like a fetus, and there's like a spark of life here. So when that conflict, and then there's like a tardigrade, I think that's what it's called. So like when that conflict happens, can we stay with it and come back together and see like all the perspectives, all the sides, and have compassion and create understanding, and then be able to come back together? Like, I think it can be really hard when people's nervous systems get flipped, you know, and people just want to like fight or shoot each other or run away. All these cards that came out. There's Ten of Spirals, Uprising, Rebel of Spirals, Ace of Blades. So yeah, this is that like, let's burn it down, let's fight, not seeing a way through. Ten of Spirals, like these, I'm seeing this staircase as like, I'm gonna go process, I'm gonna go calm down by myself. I'm gonna have discernment. I'm gonna like I'm seeing this as like not listen to my ego, and I'm gonna come into understanding. Like, I'm gonna reach my hand out to someone if I can, or like I'm gonna take someone's hand if I need. to find this, like, this support, this attunement. I'm hearing, like, why? Like, why do that? Maybe you want to be a hermit? Then be a hermit. Yeah. If that's where you are and that's where you feel like Spirit is telling you to be, then stay a hermit. Like, when you tune into your source, you'll know. But, like, the sense that I'm getting here with this collective is that there's, like, bridges. Those, like, I'm seeing these as neurons. These threads are like neurological connections in my mind. We're bridging our neurons. And when we tune into, like, the space that's all around us, you know, the dark matter, the space, maybe like energy we can't see, or maybe we can see, like, perhaps a resource could be filling that space with I'm thinking of a technique. I don't know if I should share this with you, but essentially it's like filling into the consciousness of the matter that's all around in this space. I'm doing this with my hand as if, like, my hand is moving through, like, water or the ocean or something. Like, the tactility, or like why am I at a loss of words? Like, the feeling this space as a substance, and connecting with your heart space as, like, not only a transmuter of the space and the substance around you, but also as, like, an amplifier of that love. Something you could take into any environment, and something that you already are as the multiverse. Like, love is infinite. The possibilities are only limited by your imagination, says Cher. So, let's reimagine. Staying with this discomfort and the messages within the discomfort, and then also the messages within spirit. And, like, think the more we listen to Spirit, at least for me, the more I listen to the Spirit, the more I trust it. The more I get reflected back to me, that confirmation, yes, and to continue listening to Spirit. So yeah, that's what we have for you. Is there anything else? No, I think we're complete for this message. So we have Crone of Blades on the bottom. So yeah, just using your discernment through your connection with Spirit, cutting through the bullshit, whether it be your own bullshit or other people's. Okay? So thank you for tuning in. I look forward to more readings and future offerings that are germinating or gestating or both. Okay. Thank you, my loves.